Hi, Internet viewers. This is Frank Rauscher again. The last time we were working on the tail, we had marked it up in pencil. I ended up burning all of this in. And again, I'll sort of go at it. I use a burning pen like this. And when I burn, I'm following the pencil line. And when you get up to these corners where they turn, it's smart to stop or go this way and come around. Whatever's going to work for you. Even when I burn this, I rest this on something a little off the table, so or even my hand, and burn it. I have more control this way, okay? And you can be steadier too when you have your hand on the table and you're sort of guiding it, and you have something that this is raised up on just a little bit. The other thing I wanted to also tell you is, remember when I had these vertical lines which connect from one side, the feather on this side, and goes to the other side, and we had marked in them angling this way and this way towards the center, and then I burn across. So I did burn the ends as well so that they come around to the other side. So I want you to be aware of that also gets burnt besides the lines coming down through here. Okay, so I'm going to reverse the camera here, and I'm going to relieve this area, and I'm going to show you how I do that, and see if we can't get that accomplished for this section of the video, and then we'll move on the rest of the bird, and I want to show you. But this is those pens that you can dial up your temperature range, and it's excellent. But definitely you want to sort of get yourself in a comfortable position when you're burning, because you'll be walking all over the place. Sometimes it's better to lay on the table your hand and have this raised up a little bit, or even if you're doing it like this, where I'm coming down through here, whatever's a comfortable way that you can do it and keep control. So just want to let you know that. Okay, so I sort of did this without you seeing it, but it's typical of what we did up in here and everything else. Just like we're relieve these feathers, we're going to relieve these feathers down here. So bear with me. I'm going to swing the camera down and we'll proceed. Okay, we're back. What I'm going to use on this now is I'm going to use the bullet, which is a diamond bit that's shaped like a bullet. And when I stick this in here, I usually like, there's a pretty good length to it. I don't want to stick it out way out, but I'm leaving about an inch out, and that allows me to get in. Some of you just want to keep it in tight, and I'm using the Ram micro grinder. So this works out. Maybe I got it out a little too far. I'm going to go in a little bit more, maybe about 3/4 out. But you find where it works best for you. Some of you like it in tight, maybe. I like it a little further out. So just want to let you know that. So I'm using the diamond bullet shape, and I'm going to start by relieving the outside feather here first. So here we go. I'm going to come in, and I'm going to undercut. It's actually not the feather that I'm doing, it's always the next one down. So I'm undercutting this, but I'm sort of using an angle, and have it like tilted a little bit, not too much, and I'm following that burn line on the first one. it's not real deep. Then I go to the next one. And it's like a slight angle, as you can see, I hope. And I'm trying to preserve the burn from below because I'm tilting this up. Most other cases, I'm having to lay it down and cleaning it out. This one is the other way. We are tilting up on this, and we're actually maintaining the bird below us. Because I'm trying to keep that, because we have it concave in there, or dished. So I'm coming in. And I do the next one. And I'm staging them down, just like shingles. Then the next one. And if you notice, I have my finger resting on here. You can't do it this way. It's bouncing around and you'll never have control. So I would like you to, at least when you use this machine like this, is to always make contact so that when you are using the micro grinder, you have control. Okay, or you'll be so unsteady and you'll bounce and everything else. You need to get your finger attached or something, you know, a pinky. I like this one right here because it gives me a nice steady. And when you do this, some of you will get a rippling effect. You could just come in and lightly touch it afterwards and try to get them out. Now, on this side, I flip it around because it's easier for me to do it and control it. And I'm a lefty, but if you notice, I'll use my right and left hand to do work at times. Depends on the process. So, again, I'm not doing the outside feather, but it's the next one in. I'm staging it down, and I'm angling this slightly up, and I'm coming through here, and I come all the way around the corner. And I'm not taking a lot out. I am just maybe getting a 30-second. So, I don't know if you can see that. This is kind of hard sometimes with the camera to get all the detail out. And then I'll do the last one. Then we have a center one. So I'm going to just run that down the middle. Clean that out. Like so. Now, they're all like staged inward on this side and on this one. And then the other thing I want you to do is this feather right here, these outside ones, are cupped. Even though the whole thing is dished like this, we're going to dish this outside feather just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is come in and just go down the center of the feather. Not a lot, but just a little bit to get like a little lower section right in the middle, but I want you to make sure you're not making a big divot in there. It's just a slight transaction, and you can see how it doesn't do a real smooth job to it, but I'm going to show you how to rectify that. So that's the outside feather on this one, and then I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to come in here and dish right down the center. Not much. This is not much. Now here's where I'm going to shut the machine off, and I am going to stick it out further because it's hard to reach in there. You don't want to get it too far out, but This way, it allows me to come in here and extend it because this thing wants to bang into the wood. So to alleviate that problem, and then you can also turn it a little bit. You don't want to gouge inward. Now, after I get done that, which is just a little bit, I'm going to do this. I'm going to switch over to probably one of my favorite bits also, and that is the ruby pear shape. And this is going to smooth that out for me. So I leave that right around there. And then I come in and I just come in lightly, not trying to do a lot, and get that little dish in there and smooth everything out with it. And it really does a nice job. And if this doesn't accomplish all of what you're trying to do, and you're still rough, then what we would do is get a piece of sandpaper, and I'll show you that too. I'll come in here and just smooth things out as best I can. But sometimes even this doesn't do it. But I don't know if you can see it, but it is a little dished in there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with some sandpaper by hand. And this is 120 grit, but you can use almost anything. And then what I do is I just lay that in on the outside one and sand that down. Okay, like that. And the reason why you're sanding it is because at some point in time here, we're going to put a quill in here, and then we're going to vein all these feathers to give it a very detailed look of feathers, both on top and bottom. And the good thing is to get this nice and smooth so that when we start penciling on here and burning, everything will run real nice and smooth in here. So that's a prepping. Now, I'm going to finalize this tail as far as the shaping. We are still too thick over here, so I'm going to come in with a pear on the ends. I don't know if you can see the thickness that well in here or not, but what I'm going to do is pull this up and try to go, maybe a 1/16 at the end here. And that's just to get it thin, but not too thin. I'm going to start on the bottom and dish it up part way. And again, I don't know if the camera's giving you everything that I'm trying to do here, but I am thinning this out. This has the thicker area here. I'm going to come this way because I have more control. And I'm trying to take this edge right here down, and I'm still trying to make it concave. Remember, we had this feather on the outside dish. So I'm going to come back in here, get a little more aggressive, just a little bit. You got to be real careful and take your time. Now, I got that where I think I should have it. Now, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. We are going to take this edge down, and I'm dishing it this way, and I'm looking at the edge, and I want to get it about half the thickness. Right now, it's a good, maybe a little over a 1/16. I want to get it down to maybe a 32nd, maybe. Doesn't have to be all that thin, but close to that. Now, I will smooth this out again, and I will sand this before I get done so I can make everything perfect in here and nice and smooth. Now, this outside edge is still like heavy, so here's another way of accomplishing that. I'm going to switch back over to my bullet again. This is the diamond bullet. I'm going to put that in. And I'm going to, on this last feather, I'm going to angle this down a little bit more so it gets thinner on top. And this will get me to where I think I should be. So it's just the outside feather. We're taking some of the material off the top. And then if it's still too heavy, then I'm going to come in and I'll thin this out on the bottom. And we play this game until we get the right thickness. And I don't want to get it ultra thin, but I don't want it looking so heavy. I'd say probably a little better in the 32nd, okay? I think we had a 16th in there, so I'm getting it pretty close here. Let me just clean this off. So between taking a little bit off the top and off the bottom, it gets it probably about a 32nd, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side here. I'm going to come down here, thin this down. And then I still have a little more thickness than I want, so I'm sort of keeping this dish bottom, and I'm taking this edge down. I'm trying to get it down. So, okay. Watch what I'm doing now. Okay, I think I'm where I'm at. Now, what I want you to do for this segment is to get the sanding and smooth that all out by do hand sanding, or if you have the rotary tool like one of these, this is a mandrel, and you get these sanders, and this does a real nice job getting in tight, and I'll show you how this works too. I come in here, I put that in, lock it in place, and then I change the setting to about half speed on my machine, because when you're sanding you should do it at a slower speed. So I'm going to come in here, and this does a beautiful job where you can actually lean on it a little bit to get that dished effect. And if you really have that real rippling going on in there, you, with a light touch now, you could come in and really get this nice and smooth. And then you can do the same thing on the other side. Just come in here and smooth that right out. And then just to help yourself on the top, you can do that last feather just to get everything cleaned up pretty good. And I'll do this side. And again, it's not a heavy hand. There you go. So we're in good shape here now. So I'm going to start in on the rump on the next section here, because there's another staging of the rump that needs to be done. And we will also open up the wings. So I will take you on that journey on the next video, and I thank you for watching. I hope you got something out of this one as well. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, and if you could subscribe, I would appreciate that too. So hope you've got everything out of this, and I'll see you on the next video.